Welcome back to the Kuhner Report, Hour 3, 8:07 here on the great WRKO, and now on 93.7 HD2, 617-266-6868 is the number. You can text us at 680-680. Now, before I get to Olga Rashe, Queen Olga, you know I talked about it at the 6 o'clock hour. I mentioned how my wonderful wife going up for a family, there's a big family function. Someone very dear to our family is turning 50. And so my in-laws wanted us to go up to Montreal. There's going to be a big party there. It's going to be at a steakhouse. I can't make it because I'll be at Mass Firearms. I thought it was Sunday, but in fact I was wrong. It's going to be tomorrow. So tomorrow, May 3rd, from noon till 2, I will be at Mass Firearms in Holliston. It is open to the public, so if you want to come and meet the Kuhner Man, I will be there from noon to 2. Nice meet and greet. We can talk. We can chat. Mass Firearms. Cooks, what are they doing? I think they have some kind of a nice special going on. Anyway, they have some kind of a nice special going on. So I will be there at Mass Firearms in Holliston for a full 2 hours from noon until 2. And that's why I couldn't go up this weekend. So they're up to Montreal. The city is buzzing. The city is hopping. They are itching to defeat the Bruins. It's a hockey-obsessed town, and they want blood. They want to win this one and bad. Grace tells me, she's been sending me texts all day yesterday, including this morning, Montreal Canadiens flags everywhere. Everywhere. On cars, houses, businesses, everywhere. So I get a text, and I want you to think about this. I love my kids. I love my wife. You think I like it that I'm not going to see them for 3 or 4 days, that the Kuhner Man's going to be all alone without my bunny? I call Ashton my bunny and my little Ava bear. Now, this act of generosity, I can't make it, but please, my wife and my children will go on the Kuhner Man. Everybody have a good time. You think my in-laws, Anne-Marie is the older one, Canadiens fanatic. My niece, her daughter, Maria, Canadiens fanatic. I mean, they live, eat, and breathe the Canadiens. You think they would, A, be grateful, and B, be a little bit respectful. They're sending me texts of my little Ashton. They talked the poor kid into stomping on a Boston Bruins hockey shirt. And then they have a text of him tearing up the hockey shirt. Now, I swear to you, 7:35 this morning, about 35 minutes ago, I get another text from Anne-Marie. This one is with Ashton in a Montreal Canadiens t-shirt, pointing his finger at me like now they've turned him into a Canadiens fan. They've taken my kid hostage, for God's sakes. This. You see the kind of respect I get in my house? Anyway, I gotta go up there and rescue my kids before they permanently turn Ashton into a Canadiens fan. But, okay. Oh boy. I want all of you to ask me, Jeff, what's your dream job in life, Jeff? Is it being at RKO? Is it being a talk show host at RKO? No. Nope, that's number 2. My dream in life. And if should Charlie Baker win the next election, I'm gonna lobby Charlie for this. I'm gonna nag him and annoy him and call him until he beg and plead until he finally gives it to me. I want to be commissioner at Duval's Children and Families. I want to be the next DCF commissioner. There's no better gig on earth. So, Olga Rashe is forced against overwhelming, massive public pressure to step down. She finally steps down. But guess what happens to Olga Rashe, Queen Olga? Do you think she just rides off into the sunset? No. It's now official. Mini-Me, Deval Patrick spokesman, has now come out and said that they are going to be keeping Olga Rashe on, Queen Olga, for another 3 months as part of a, quote, transition process. To, quote, be an advisor, to be giving advice to interim commissioner Aaron Devaney. They're going to keep her on until August 1st, and check this out, as an advisor. At the same salary of $137,700 a year. To me, that's almost a promotion. This way, she doesn't have to physically even be at DCF. Instead of taking 3-day weekends, now she can take 4 or 5-day weekends. She's telecommuting. She just yaks on the phone for a couple hours. Advise them on what? How to kill kids? How to cover things up? How to leave faxes on the floor for 6 days? I'm serious. What is this woman advising DCF on? I'm serious. I've been saying, Olga. Hold on, Olga. We have another child missing, presumed dead. Oh, we just played dumb? Okay. Oh, the fax, the complaint from the police. Take it and put it where? In that corner? On the floor in that corner? Okay, okay. Thanks, Olga. Thank you. We have a special call now from somebody who claims to have inside information, but we're changing her name to protect her identity as Axl Rose. This is real. This is not a joke. We're just calling her Axl Rose, but because Cooksey gets to decide the name, so he gave the name Axl Rose. Brittany would say Britney Spears. But anyway, we have somebody now with inside information. Axl Rose, welcome to the Kuhner Report.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hi, Axl.
Hi.
Now, this is real, right? You're not kidding around. You have real inside information. Go ahead, shoot.
Well, a lot of focus is on leadership. No one's talking about the front line. The workers that we're the ones out there every day. No one's talking to us. And so it's difficult for so many in the agency. But there's more to come because this whole toppling down effect is just not changing a thing. And it's very scary.
When you say there's problems on the front lines, what do you mean, Axl?
It's all about accountability. It's all accountability. Everyone's, of course, as a leader, she has to be looked at as, the head person, and that's the person we always look at, just like the governor. So many decisions are being made in the front line, and there's so much unaccountability. And no one is focusing on that. And until we focus on the real issue in this agency, it's going to continue.
Now, Axl, what you mean is the lack of accountability for people, the frontline social workers who are making all these mistakes, correct?
Yeah, but also, and there's so many good ones, including me. So you work at DCF? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's so many, and basically, it starts at the front line, and then it goes right backwards. So that's not even touched on.
What, Axl, as someone who works within DCF, what do you see as the biggest form of corruption? What are some of the biggest problems that you see on the front line?
Poor casework. No supervision. And I can't even stress it enough. I'm being very kind of, there's a lot. But
I understand. You have to be careful because you don't want to lose your job. I understand that. Let me then,
Axl. I can tell you, it's bigger than people realize because we all realize it. And we're actually totally shocked by the fact that this hasn't even been touched on. The accountability is the biggest word in this whole thing.
How many, Axl, are there a lot of other children that are being abused or being neglected under the eyes of DCF?
Or not seen? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. So you're saying this is the tip of the iceberg then?
Oh, you have it. you have it.
Axel, I think we definitely need to talk off air, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, already agreed.
Okay, so you've already emailed Cooksey. We're definitely going to talk. I want to get much more information. Axel, before I let you go, I got to ask you this one question.
Yep.
How do you feel as someone in DCF, obviously front lines, close to front lines, that Olga Rasche is still being kept on for 3 more months as a, quote, advisor, unquote, making $137,700 a year?
The conversation all week between all of us, yes, the word is common sense. Nobody seems to have it these days. Common sense. What are we doing? What are we doing as an agency? It's so beyond measure, and it's so scary that I'm like, we live in America, and this stuff is happening right here.
Axel, what do you think what do people at DCF like you, what do you need most? Do you need more caseworkers? Do you need more supervision? Do you need more better leadership? Do you need more money? What exactly do you think the agency really needs to fix its problems?
Quality work can only be done with a sufficient amount of cases. It cannot be done with more than 15. It can't. So that...
Axel, how many do you have?
18.
How many?
18.
Okay, so all right, so you're close to the 15 mark.
Yeah, but you have to remember there's many things within that, which I can't go into right now, but
okay.
I just came down from 21. I know people who have 22, 24. So this is like, every couple of weeks things change. But you have cases in crisis. How are we going to handle that with 18? You have crises. You're in court. It's impossible. And that is showing if they would just look at the cases.
Axel, the governor, Deval Patrick, keeps insisting that Olga Rasche has 30 years of experience, phenomenal expertise. That's why they need to keep her on as an advisor. Among DCF staff people like you, was she seen as somebody with incredible expertise and experience?
No.
How is she viewed by people on the ground?
Evasive.
A racist?
Evasive.
Oh, evasive. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
So was she seen as incompetent?
Yeah, kind of like, why all the money and leadership, and look what's happening down here.
So as she's making $137K, you guys are basically left twisting in the wind, overwhelmed by so many cases.
Oh, you got it. I can't even put it into words.
Axel, let me ask you one final question. We're going to talk off air because obviously I don't want you to say too much because I don't want to get you in trouble.
Yep.
And I'm saying this with a sense of dread. I'm not saying this with a sense of glee. In fact, the exact opposite. Do you feel now with a new interim commissioner, maybe a new full-time replacement, do you think the situation is going to get better, or do you think more children are going to go missing or die under the watch of DCF?
Your second option is it.
Oh, really? You think we may see more dead, missing children?
Hopefully, no, not that extreme. I'm hoping, but at this point, none of us are surprised of what's to come.
Axel, I'm just curious. With 18 cases, how many times do you see each kid?
Once.
What, once a month?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How often should you?
Maybe twice, depending on if it's a crisis.
So at least come in at least once every 2 weeks to keep monitoring the child, correct?
Oh, no. Once a month, 30 days.
Hold on, you're saying you should come in once every 2 weeks, but you're coming in once every 30 days.
No, once a month, once every 30 days.
Once every 30 days is fine, you think?
No way.
Okay, what do you think would be the ideal? If I said to you, look, Axel, how many times do you think would be ideal for you to be checking in on each child?
2 or 3.
Oh, 2 or 3 times a month?
Yeah.
So you're barely coming in once a month?
Barely.
So, God forbid, if this kid is being abused or beaten or neglected or malnourished or malfed or whatever, 30 days is an eternity.
Yep.
Axel, listen, we're going to get in touch with you. Trust me, Cooksey has your contact info, and I'm going to call you. I'm going to speak with you, and we're going to get to the bottom. We're going to clean that place up. I'm going to do everything I can to expose how rotten and corrupt and bad the situation is at DCF.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Axel, you're a whistleblower. And God bless you. Thank you for calling. 617-266-6868 is the number. Olga Rache. Another 3 months, $137,000. By the way, we're paying for this out of our pockets. Are you offended? Are we now? Is this an insult? What do you say? Or do you think they need her for her expertise? All of your calls next. Welcome back to the Kuhner Report, 826 here on the great WRKO. It's now 617-266-6868. Yeah, 826, soon to be 827. My friends, you can join me tomorrow from noon till 2 at Mass Firearms School in Holliston. I will be there, shaking people's hands. We can have a chat. We can talk. You can meet the Kuhner man. Tomorrow, noon till 2 at Mass Firearms School in Holliston. You know, I was just thinking, with Olga Rache still making $137,000 a year, and she just has to basically pick up the phone and tell them how to bury the dead kids, how to cover up dead missing children. She could be doing this from the Dominican Republic, sipping a tequila on the beach, maybe Mexico, maybe in Acapulco for the next 3 months. I asked Cooksey, where do you think she should be, for spending her money the next 3 months? He said Costa Rica. He likes Costa Rica, very beautiful. He also mentioned Bahamas. But I said, you see, in Bahamas, they actually speak pretty good English in Bahamas. So I don't know, there may be a language barrier there for Queen Olga. I suggest if she's listening, relax, go to the Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, very nice. Sit back, drink some tequilas, and once a week make a phone call. Just once a week. Just tell them, put the paper, missing kid, put the paper in the corner. Just put stability, responsibility, and put the paper in the corner. It always worked for me. 617-266-6868. I want to be the next chief of DCF. That is now, it's my dream job. It can be as incompetent as you want. The 137K just keeps on rolling in. Linda, you're up next. Thanks for holding. You're on the Kuhner Report on RKO, and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Linda.
But these households that had these children that died, did they continue to receive their check? I haven't heard anybody make any statements about that, but it would seem to me if they kept cashing the check for that child, the state would have a case against them.
Oh, you mean if they kept cashing in their welfare checks?
Yeah.
Linda, I got to be honest with you. Everybody in this state keeps cashing in their welfare checks.
Well, this is true. This is true. But
so why should, what's a dead kid? Keep the welfare checks coming.
Yeah, and that would give the DA's office a great handle on connecting with these people and finding out just what happened and how they had to, how they came to get these children in the first place. What qualified them for this program?
Linda, honestly, I don't think they want to get to the bottom of it because, frankly, they all vote for Deval.
Yeah.
Those are his voters.
But at least we can keep it out there, just like Benghazi. You never know what shakes out if you keep hanging on to something.
From your lips to God's ears, Linda. That's why I do this show every day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Bye-bye.
617-266-6868 is the number. This is from 617. Jeff, Olga should be banned for life from Deval's children and families. Her crimes are far worse than Donald Sterling. Does Patrick realize that children died? Patrick should be removed as well. Dude, it was 2 weeks ago, dude. Hey, dude, it was like 2 weeks ago, dude. Back after this short break, 617-266-6868, 8:30 on RKO. Let's take it to Angela in the newsroom. Welcome back to the Kuhner Report, 8:36 on WRKO, 617-266-6868. I will be tomorrow at Mass Firearms School in Holliston from noon till 2. If you want to come down and say hello to the Kuhner Man, chat with me, I will be there for 2 hours. Mass Firearms, I think we'll have a nice special going on. So if you want to meet the Kuhner Man, you can meet me tomorrow from noon till 2 at Mass Firearms. You know, Olga Roche is going to be staying on as an advisor, quote unquote. $137,000 a year until August 1st. Why August 1st? I mean, why not just keep her all the way to the election? I mean, what the hell? So she can get paid for all of August, September, October, but they're going to keep her on for a full 3 months. And I'm just thinking out loud, and I want to ask you this. If you were Queen Olga, basically getting paid to do nothing, maybe make a phone call or two, where would you be spending your money? Cooksey likes Costa Rica. I would advise her Dominican Republic. Very nice right now. The beaches are phenomenal. Acapulco's not bad either. Maybe if you like South Florida, that area, maybe the Florida Keys. Howie's big on South Florida. Maybe Olga could be spending the next couple months there collecting the check. If you were Olga, where would you be spending your $137K? 617-266-6868 is the number. Do you think it is insulting to keep this woman on as a, quote, advisor to DCF after 137 missing dead children on our tab? I ask you, Boston, 617-266-6868. Don, you're on RKO. You're up next. Go.
Jeff, thanks for taking my call, and keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you, Don.
Just a quick observation. You know, the head of an agency has to prioritize where those, you know, the finite resources, the money and the manpower or people power that you know, the staff power that's in their agency. And if the amount of resources, money, time that were spent on the Justina Pelletier kidnapping and imprisonment had been spent checking just once on Jeremiah Oliver, he might not be dead.
I agree with you.
You know, I just, you know, in the Navy, if you run your ship aground, your career's over. In Massachusetts, if you run the agency into the ground and kill children, you get a paid vacation.
Yeah.
What's wrong with this picture?
Yeah, you nailed it. Look, I think had he acted much earlier, when we told him to act, at a minimum, there's no getting around this fact, at a minimum, Bailey Irish could be alive today. Aliana Levin, that 1-month-old baby, beautiful little girl, could be alive today. And frankly, Jeremiah Oliver's death was completely senseless. This need not have happened. And now maybe with Justina, we're going to have another one? I don't know how sick you are, but the elevator doesn't go to the top with this guy. The woman that oversaw missing and dead 137 children at her agency, you're keeping her on for another 3 months because you never wanted to fire her in the first place? This guy, I mean, really, with him, if you notice, watch him when he gives an interview. I don't know if he's just if he's not properly socialized. I don't know if he's somehow such a narcissist that he's disconnected from reality, or if literally this man has no conscience whatsoever. But I swear to you, when I look at him I see a mentally ill man. And notice, no feeling whatsoever for any of these dead kids. But Ben Laguerre, a convicted rapist. Ooh, how he went to bat for Ben Laguerre. Ooh, or when you touch people's welfare money, don't you, he's almost like Eric Holder. Don't you go there, buddy. Don't you go there. Don't you go there. So, if you're a rapist, a murderer, an Islamic terrorist, or a welfare deadbeat, or an illegal immigrant, Mini-Me gets all hot and bothered. You're an innocent dead child? Hey, it's tragic. It's very sad. Olga, 137K, that'll do it for you, Olga? Brenda, it's sick. Brenda, you're up next. Thanks for holding, and welcome.
It is sick, Jeff, and you nailed it, as you would say, that there is a mental illness going on because they suffer from the illness of liberalism, because it's a mental disorder. 2 comments. First, in terms of appointing Olga Roche to this extremely important position, I know when I look back on my life and some of the jobs that I've done, I've never been a career-minded woman, but I've been working all my life. There are certain positions that when I look back that I really wasn't the best candidate, though I got the position, i.e. I was a retail manager for many years. I actually am best directly dealing with customers. That is where I shine. This perhaps is where Olga needed to stay. She probably was best to be one-on-one with the clients, not going to this level that she could not handle and was not qualified for. Now, this other gal that has now gotten the position, she might be able to do a good job because you can transfer skills from one position to another. We will see. We will see because we got the watchdog of Kuhner country checking on that. As far as my fantasy, because you asked the listeners, I'm looking at it right now. Every day when I open my closet, I have a picture of 2 palm trees, and it says, imagine, feeling so relaxed. And it's a picture of a place in the Virgin Islands, and I got the resort, the Hibiscus Resort, and it's on my favorites, and I look at it. When I come home, when I've had a rough day, and there's more months than money, and I'm like, someday I'm going to get my butt down there with a drink in my hand and my toes in the sand.
So if you were Olga Roche, you'd be in the Virgin Islands.
You better believe it, Jeff.
Thank you for that call, Brenda. 617-266-6868. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of I like Dominican Republic a lot. Costa Rica is a strong candidate. Venezuela, socialist government, a lot of kids being killed there as well. You could maybe do double consulting if you're Olga Roche. You consult us and you consult them. Maybe get 2 checks coming up. I'm just thinking out loud here. Comrade John, how you are, comrade?
Brenda, bye. It's always good to be a part of the Brenda fan club. She's great, well-informed, well-spoken. 2 things. I don't know if you picked up on this, but that Axl Rose girl, she sounded afraid, Jeff. And I don't mean just for her job. She sounded afraid for her life. That's what I was picking up off her. Now, if I was Olga Roche, I'd be spending my money on retaining a very good defense lawyer. Because if this Justine Pelletier girl passes on, she got a back foot up.
Oh, she's in big trouble. No, I'm with you, comrade. And I'm getting a lot of texters who are criticizing Axel. Honestly, she's obviously nervous. She's self-conscious. What she's doing takes a lot of courage. She's watching everything that she says. She's filtering herself because she doesn't want to expose herself. And to me, just the fact that that's why she didn't know how to answer certain questions, because she's thinking, will this reveal me? Will this expose me? My fear is she may even have said too much. They may already, I don't want to get into it. She gave some details, but she was very courageous to call us, and she's going to be giving me a lot of information on DCF. She really is a hero. 617-266-6868. My friends, Olga Roche, $137,000 at least until August as an advisor. Agree, disagree. 617-266-6868. 8:45 on the great WRKO. More with your calls next. Welcome back to the Kuhner Report, 8:51 here on the great WRKO. Usually we're joined at this time by Larry Kudlow, However, last minute something came up, so Larry is not able to join us today. He'll return next week. I just want to thank South Shore Savings Bank for sponsoring this segment, as they always do every week. South Shore Savings Bank. It's just better, my friends. 617-266-6868 is the number. You can text us at 680-680. This is from 508. Jeff, maybe Queen Olga should confer with Mini-Me on where to hang out. He's hit enough lavish hot spots on our dime. That would open up Singapore. That would open up Australia. That would open up Japan. If she starts conferring with Mini-Me, I mean, she could have a blast the next 3 months. This is from 617. I thought of this, and I think 617 is right. Jeff, Olga's original hire date anniversary might be in July. Therefore, she would accumulate another year of service for her retirement by departing August 1st. You see, 617, I was thinking the exact same thing. I mean, why August 1st? Why this mystical August 1st? I mean, if you're going to keep her on for 3 months, seriously, what the hell? Just take it all the way to November. So I think they want to do another year to jack up her retirement. Say what you want about Mini-Me. He takes care of his own. 617-266. It's our money, but still, he takes care of his own. 617-266-6868. Philip, you're up next. You're on WRKO. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, Philip.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah. This is what I talked to the girl that answered the phone there. You have everything under your fingertips. You have the laws of the United States. You have Queen Volga, you got Mini-Me, and you have the Messiah in the White House. You can do this, Mr. Kuhner. You can also look up the Constitution text, look up the federal, the Supreme Court, the laws of the Supreme Court. You mean we can't find any way of getting our president out of office to make him resign with what he did with Bell? What you were talking about in the previous hour.
Philip, there's only one way to remove him, and that is through impeachment.
Yes.
Now, I have to tell you, Philip, and please don't call me Mr. Kuhner. I swear only my accountant calls me Mr. Kuhner.
Okay, Jeff.
And trust me, Philip, with the way this guy hoses me down, he should be calling me Lord Kuhner. Okay, but let that go. Arming Al-Qaeda. By the way, the Libyan war, it was an illegal war. There never was any congressional authorization. That already is impeachable, okay? But again, let that one go. You're arming and training Al-Qaeda, our mortal enemies, in an illegal criminal war. And then the very people that you armed and trained turned their guns and firepower and slaughtered 4 Americans in Benghazi? And then the president orchestrates a systematic cover-up? Manipulating the intelligence, lying to the American people, lying to Congress, lying to the United Nations, and then when they have the smoking gun email, they deliberately redact it so you won't find out the truth? Do you know how many laws have been broken? How many high crimes and misdemeanors have been committed? Now, I'm going to be honest. Because if I'm not in front of this microphone to speak the truth as I see it, then I have no business being here. Bill Clinton was impeached for significantly much less. Richard Nixon, they were drawing up articles of impeachment. He was forced out of office for significantly much less. One was a Democrat, the other a Republican. So what's the difference? Just objectively. What separates Barack Obama from Bill Clinton, a fellow Democrat, or a Republican, a president like Richard Nixon? There's only one reason. And I wish it wasn't so, because I judge people by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. It's the fact that he's black. If he wasn't black, even if he was a Democrat, they may not convict him in the Senate like Bill Clinton, yes. But the Republicans rightly would be storming the gates to impeach Barack Obama. Instead, Boehner is petrified. To this day, he's still resisting calling a select committee, a Watergate-style committee. Conservatives want it. The Republicans want it. His own caucus wants it. The American people want it. 60% say there was a massive cover-up at Benghazi. They want to get to the bottom of it. Let me tell you the ultimate tragedy of the Obama presidency. And again, I want to take double flack for this, but I don't care. Forget the socialism. Believe it or not. Forget the record debt. Believe it or not. Forget the destruction of our health care. Believe it or not. Forget the hollowing out of our military. Believe it or not. I'll tell you why. Because countries can come back. And I believe we in the Tea Party, we conservatives, we libertarians, this new patriotic middle American movement, we are the future. And we will restore this country. I truly believe that. We will bounce back. We're like a heavyweight fighter that's been knocked down, but we're going to get up and we're going to win and we're going to knock the socialists and the liberals out. The greatest tragedy is that the liberals of this country have shown, not us, they cannot handle having a person of color in the White House. They can't handle it. We can. Because we judge them by their behavior and by their actions, which is how you should judge somebody. But they can't. Because all they see is the color of his skin. All they see is race. They can't stop talking about it, thinking about it, or defending him on it. You know why they keep yelling racism against all of Obama's opponents and critics? They call me racist. I get called this now, I think, 100 times a day. Emails, texts, racist, racist, racist. Honestly, it's ad nauseum. Because deep down, they're the racists. And they know it. I see him. It is a sin for me to lie. God is my witness. I don't see a black man. Honest to God, I don't. I see a puerile, criminal, lying, socialist con man. That's why I don't like him. And let me be even more honest with you. I honestly believe racism is a sin. As a devout Christian, I believe we are all children of God. We're all God's children. So why should you discriminate against any of God's children? My problem with him is not the color of his skin. It never has been. It's the color of his politics. For the liberals, what they cannot see, what they can't stop seeing, all they can see is the color of his skin. They're the racists, and that's why they can't handle a person of color in the White House, and that's the truth of it. 9 o'clock on WRKO. Coming up next, my friends, Open Lines Friday. I turn the show over to you. Let's take it to Angela in the newsroom.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WrestleMania's main event of the evening. A no-holds-barred freedom match between reigning heavyweight champion, the Dear Leader, and newcomer, the Croatian Crusher.
I'm standing here next to the Croatian Crusher, and I've got to ask you, Crusher, how do you possibly think you can overcome the might of the Dear Leader? What's your strategy?
Plam, let me tell you something. This is my message for the Dear Leader. What you gonna do when the Constitution and the Tea Party patriots run wild on you? And once I get my hands on that freaking belt, I will never, and I mean never, let that go. Well, you just heard from the Croatian Crusher. Now it's time to go to ringside and hear from the Dear Leader's manager, Eric the Scolder Holder.
In things racial, we have always been, and we, I believe, continue to be, in too many ways, essentially a nation of cowards.
Thank you. Let's all put our hands together and celebrate affordable health care, yeah! Now making his way into the ring, the fearless challenger, the Croatian Crusher! There's the bell, and they're up. Oh, they're going at it right away. They've locked horns at the center of the ring. The dear leader is angling the Croatian Crusher over to his corner, where Eric Holder seems to have a... What? Oh, no! Eric Holder's just passed the dear leader a race card, and he's beating the Croatian Crusher. Oh, another hit with the race card. Oh, another hit with the race card. Oh, look at this! Howie Carr scrambling to ringside to help the Croatian Crusher. And then, oh, nope, he's just setting up a table selling some copies of his new books. But back into the ring. Oh, no, the Croatian Crusher fights free. He dazes the dear leader. The Croatian Crusher is climbing up to the top of the turnbuckles, his arms spread in the air, ready to fly. Oh, the dear leader just received a Second Amendment suplex. 1, 2, 3. It's over. It's over. The Croatian Crusher has upset the dear leader.
Yeah, baby. Grace, I did it. I did it. Big thanks to Ronnie. Absolutely hilarious. I told you, the man's a genius. Absolutely hilarious bit. Fourth hour of the Kuhner Report, 9:09 here on the great WRKO. Open lines Friday, 617-266-6868. Any topic, any question, any subject matter, nothing is off the table. Everything is fair game. Bruce, you're up next. Thanks for holding, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff, how are you today on this lovely Friday?
Well, I mean, Bruce, I'm a little depressed. The Bruins lost yesterday. And my son, Ashton, has been converted into a Canadiens fan.
I heard that.
I mean, things are bad in the Kuhner household right now, Bruce.
Well, it could be worse because there's some liberal nut, and I want to get back to this thing on Olga, but there's some liberal nut wrote a book about how United States and Canada should combine their resources and become one big, large country, and I'd like you to look into that because she's a kook. But anyways, I'll put that aside. As far as Olga, I think she should be turning big rocks into little ones, but let's let that go. She's going to be vacationing on the roof of the Benghazi embassy. It's going to be Olga, Obama, Pelosi, and John Botox having cocktails on the roof of the embassy, and when they cry for help, we just ignore them. How's that?
Bruce, I love it. They should go to Benghazi. That should be their vacation hotspot. 617-266-6868. Or, because they love communism so much, Pyongyang. Maybe do a little North Korea. It's just, you get a bowl of rice, they give you a nice glass of water, and you enjoy the slave labor camps. 617-266, a lot of dead kids in North Korea. Olga she'd feel very comfortable there. 617-266-6868. Michael, you're up next on RKO. Shoot.
Jeff, Olga Roche is typical what's wrong with the state. Just a few quick points. Sure. One, had Olga been the best DCF manager we ever saw running a great organization, maybe you'd consider 3 months because you want that to persist. Do we really want Olga to persist? The other thing is if you're a halfway decent manager, and as a leader, you build organizations where a transition can happen in 3 to 4 weeks. 3 months, absolutely ridiculous. It's just abuse of our tax dollars going towards her money. Why don't they put her under contract? Give her 80 hours at $10K, generous for her, and just have her back for the specific things. It's her knowledge. And if she is so such a dedicated worker, why doesn't she donate her hours and say, I'm going to donate my remaining salary to causes that will prevent this happening to children?
Michael, let me ask you this. Okay, you're making very good points, no question about it. But let me ask you this. Just on a human, personal level, and please be brutally honest with me. You run a private charity. Okay? You're there to help, supervise kids, get kids placed into foster homes, but it's a charity. And you had somebody who was running that charity for you. And under her watch, over several years, 137 kids either went missing or ended up dying. Would you keep that person on after you fired her for 3 months at $137,000 a year to get, quote, her input, unquote?
No, I'd be assisting the police to come up with criminal charges against a person so they could remove the person from the employment.
Bingo, my friend. Now, you see, that's been my point all along. Why do we treat people in the private sector differently than we do treat people in government? If this was in the private sector, if this was a private charity, not, quote, a government agency, Michael's completely right. She'd be hauled off in handcuffs. Instead, they keep her on as a consultant. Off our money, $137,000 a year. Honestly, to me, I don't want to beat a dead horse. That's as far as I'm concerned. Basically, so hold on. I had to work 40 hours a week for $137K. Now I get to work, 5 hours a week for $137K? To me, that's a promotion. I'd be telling Grace, sweetheart, Bahamas, sweetie, let's go to the Bahamas. Have a nice long $137,000 rolling in. Let's take the kids, relax, couple of phone calls a few times a week, no worries. Honey, let's spend the summer in the Bahamas. David, you're up next. Thanks for holding. You're on the Kuhner Report. Go. Oh, I'm sorry, John. David, you're up next. John, you're up next. Forgive me, my bad. You're on RKO. Shoot, my friend.
Good morning, Mr. Kuhner. How are you today?
I am good. How are you, John?
Very well, thank you. Very well. I don't want to talk about any of the current events today. I actually want to appeal to your son regarding the brainwashing from his Canadian fan mother, I expect, from what I just heard. Young man, your mother may be very brilliant and have a doctorate, but she doesn't know any better. You need to be a Bruins fan, not a Canadian fan. I know hockey was invented in Canada, but the Canadians aren't even really a real hockey team in the past 10, 15 years. So, come on, man. You just can't jump ship on us. You're an American. They're the Bruins. Well, that's all I can say.
Well, John, you're right. And not only that, boy, his family, little Ashton's family, they go back generations. Now, yes, it's Minnesota. He should be technically a Minnesota Wild fan. But now he lives in Boston.
Nordic. Everyone in Minnesota essentially has Nordic descent, and from what I recall from what you said about your son, he does have some...
Oh, he's German, Norwegian, John, all the way.
Exactly. So, a Canadian fan? Are you kidding me? I mean, that's almost like, that's a high crime misdemeanor.
They're spitting in my face, John.
Yeah. I mean, is there a way that we can, in some way, have an impeachment proceeding and have your wife put on the stand and have her, say she hasn't brainwashed him? Because I think she has. I think when you're not around, she's, drilling them on this Canadian.
Well, my fear is DCF may now get involved.
I know, I was going to suggest that. We could file a 51A, but unfortunately, your son would be worse off. It would be horrible. Bad things would happen.
See, that's the problem.
This is the least of our problem.
I may have Olga Roche now at my door, John.
Oh, my goodness.
I shouldn't have opened up my big mouth.
Oh, jeepers. Here we go. Deval Patrick. Hey, maybe now he'll really call you now.
617-266-6868 is the number. My family's listening to the show, I guess, via internet. And now they're laughing, and now they're sending more pictures of Ashton in a Canadiens jersey. This is borderline child abuse now. This is, David, you're up next. You're on the Kuhner Report. Go ahead, sir.
Just before 9 o'clock, you said that the only way to remove a president is through impeachment.
That's normally how it's done, David.
Well, I'm sorry, but I heard you say that that's the only way, and it's not. If you look at the Constitution, Amendment number 25, Section number 4, within the 25th Amendment, there is another legal way to remove a president. Now, impeachment at its core is an accusation that the president has committed a crime of some sort.
Yes.
But the founding fathers were very wise, very smart, and they prepared us as a country very well. They foresaw the possibility that a president could become, in military language, unfit for duty. And so they prepared this other procedure. It has to have the approval of 3 or 4 very high-ranking members of Congress. But if all 3 or 4 of them agree, a president can be removed for being, physically incapacitated or mentally, mental health problems, whatever. And it's there. It's in the Constitution.
David, I hear you, but here's what I think needs to happen. And we have to be very realistic about this. Right now, if the Republicans move for impeachment, you will see half the country, at least, revolt. There will be a tremendous backlash. What needs to take place, this is why I'm calling for a select committee, a Watergate-style joint select committee. Have Congress really investigate this, subpoena power, go in there, look at classified documents. There's going to be even more dirt that's going to come out. Have it on the television screens. So then the media can't ignore it. They can't. Because that's all Congress is focusing on. Then when the truth about Benghazi comes out, as it will, then the American people will see what a gangster and a criminal and a traitor they have in the White House. And then the numbers to impeach are going to grow from whatever it is today, 25, 30%, to 60, 70, 75%. And like Nixon, the pressure will be inexorable and it will grow relentlessly. That's the way to do it. That's why this election is so important. Because if the Republicans win as big as I believe they will and as they should according to the polls, you will have a Republican Senate, a much more conservative Congress, and John Boehner will be out. And maybe we'll have a real House Speaker in alliance with Ted Cruz. And say what you want about Ted Cruz. He's not afraid to impeach that con man in the White House. 617-266-6868 is the number. My friends, I'm telling you, Benghazi is not going anywhere. Open lines Friday, 9:20 on RKO. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to the Kuhner Report. Open lines Friday, 9:25 on the great WRKO. Tomorrow I will be at Mass Firearms School from noon till 2 in Holliston to meet any listeners, fans of the Kuhner Report. I will be shaking hands, talking to people. Come on down. We'll have a good time. I think there's a big special going on at Mass Firearms. So if you want to show up, meet the Kuhner Man, noon till 2 tomorrow, Mass Firearms School in Holliston. I look forward to meeting all of you. Andrea, you're up next on RKO, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff, I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of your show today, but yesterday I heard you saying something about having a rally for Justina Pelletier, and you want to know if people will go. Well, I already got a friend of mine who said she would go, and she doesn't even listen to talk radio. My husband said he'd go, so if everybody would just try to bring a friend or something that doesn't even know about it, or someone who does know about it, whatever, we would go, so I was just wanting to let you know that.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, Andrea, I'm going to talk to Brittany. We're going to get the Pelletiers on the show. And so I'm going to interview Linda or Lou or both, Lou or Linda Pelletier. And if the parents give me the go-ahead, because I don't want to escalate the situation if it's going to hurt them, their court case is pending, I think, in about 3 or 4 weeks. So if they say yes, it would be very beneficial. I'm going to lead the rally, and we're going to put a lot of people out at Boston Common. And I'm going to force the media and force the politicians on Beacon Hill and force Mini-Me to confront this directly. Vinny, you're up next. Thanks for holding.
Jeff, I want to prepare Kuhner Country for Monday. As you know, Monday is Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May. And Kuhner Country must know the real meaning of what this day is all about. That is basically celebrated in America by the lefty liberals, the illegal aliens, and so on. Back in the 1860s, a Mexican province did not want to pay back their loans, their bank loans, to France. France sends over an army, but the Mexican army defeats the French. And because of that, they had the great military victory. It is celebrated, and it's celebrated here in America. And so anyone that celebrates that holiday, you are celebrating a military victory of one country over another country because they didn't want to pay back their bank loans. Now, with that said, in 2005, I believe our Congress, in all of its wisdom, recognized the holiday not as a day off, but I believe they recognized it, so it's celebrated even more now in America. And on Monday, all of the liberal lefty TV news stations are going to be how wonderful this day is of Cinco de Mayo. I will be calling them up and telling them that you don't even know what the day is all about. These people are stupid, ignorant in the TV media. While we're at it, Jeff, why don't we celebrate Bastille Day here in America?
Vinny, you're completely right. And notice, Cinco de Mayo is clearly it's part of a strategy to divide and balkanize Americans. Now, other ethnic groups have their days, but look at the difference. Take Columbus Day for the Italians. They celebrate the coming of an Italian who discovered the New World. It's a celebration of Italians' contribution to America. St. Patrick's Day. It's a celebration of the Irish and their story here in America. What is Cinco de Mayo?
It's a military victory.
It's the celebration of Mexico's military victory over France. It has nothing to do with the contribution of Hispanics to America or of Mexicans to America. It's a foreign holiday by people who are celebrating a foreign victory by a foreign country.
Yes.
And, Vinny, to be honest with you, most Americans don't care about Cinco de Mayo. I don't care about Cinco de Mayo, and frankly, they shouldn't care about Cinco de Mayo.
The illegal aliens love it, and I'll tell you another thing. Back several years ago, in my bank, they had salsa, chips, and other things. When I went up to the teller, she says, "Oh, here, celebrate Cinco de Mayo." I said, "What, are you crazy?" I went to the bank manager, and I said, "You're celebrating a military victory because the country didn't want to pay back their bank loans." I said, "Are you crazy?" And they were embarrassed.
Thank you for that call, Vinny. Look, honestly, it's just another drinking day. It's just another day as an excuse to pound back some Coronas and get sloshed. Margaritas, tequilas, Coronas, that's all it is. You know, wear a sombrero, have some Mexican food, and get sloshed. That's Cinco de Mayo Day. I've just given you Cinco de Mayo Day. I don't celebrate Cinco de Mayo Day. Let the Mexicans celebrate it. It's their day. It's not a day for Americans. 617-266-6868. Open lines Friday, 9:31 on the Great WRKO. Let's take it to Angela in the newsroom. 9:41 here on the Great WRKO. I think that's Italian, Brittany. She says she doesn't know. This is Spanish, Italian. They're two different languages. You do know that, Britt. But anyway, 617-266-6868. I'm almost positive this is Italian. See, I asked for a Mexican song to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. She gets me an Italian song. No parlay Americano. I don't know what to say. I got Brittany playing Italian songs when I want a Mexican song. My wife is now up in Canada with my Ashton and Ava. She's basically converted the poor kid into a Canadians fan with my in-laws. He's now wearing, they keep sending me texts now. Canadians jerseys, stomping on the Boston Bruins jersey. I bet, by the way, they paid for those jerseys with my money. But again, let that one go. 617-266-6868. Open lines Friday. Kevin, you're up next. Thanks for holding and welcome.
Jeff, you can tell Vinny that I feel that I am personally living in a Bastille with why does not America, my fellow American compatriots, wake up. Now, stay with me, Jeff. We had over the last week Barack in Malaysia speaking out, chiming in on Donald Sterling, okay? And that uplifted and mobilized people and media and everywhere else.
And all the bigots that were on the front line, from Spike Lee, Jay-Z, you had the mayor of Sacramento, who's a sexual predator, Kevin Johnson, spiking, as you recall, had, in the first months of Obama administration, the White House fired an inspector general, Walton, because of a report of improprieties of hundreds of thousands of dollars with Kevin Johnson, and nothing was said about it, and nothing was said about it this week. So we go from there to the despicable here at home with Deval Patrick. Look, my God, with all the problems, the fatalities, we lost Jeremiah Oliver, the two babies, and he has this press conference. And we switch off from the Department of Children and Families to then it's like going to a car wash, employing somebody from the Division of Motor Vehicles to run out of 100,000 people that work in medical field, social worker, to that capacity. We take somebody from the DMV. Now, what's so bad is even during the week, we even had as late as the breaking news, the face of Ireland, the face of Ireland, Jerry Adams, being, to a death over Northern Ireland. He was a member of Parliament. In 1972, he was arrested. What's all this have in common? You got Deval Patrick from Harvard. You got Barack Obama, Michelle Obama from Harvard that say that they're for the military, but we ignore things like Benghazi and everything else. You even had the Nobel laureate, Lawrence Summers. Harvard, where have we gotten on all this? It's just unbelievable.
Kevin, thank you for that call. Harvard's a joke. I mean, honestly, I would never send my kids to Harvard. I don't care if they got in if they get in free. Okay, Brittany has something for me. Oh, Mexican music. The celebration of Cinco de Mayo. There it is. By the way, this is John Boehner's favorite holiday. Bonehead loves Cinco de Mayo. He loves tequila, margarita, Coronas. We're going to play this all day Monday. But he loves this is his favorite holiday. He can get sloshed, and he has an excuse for it this time. The Tea Party. They'll celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Should be celebrating Cinco de Mayo. How else are we going to win these elections? We don't start give me another tequila. That was a really good tequila. Give me another tequila. If we don't start celebrating Cinco de Mayo, how are we going to start winning elections in this country? I want to be House Speaker forever. Bill, you're up next on the Kuhner Report. Welcome. Hola, Bill.
Hola, how we doing? Hey, Jeff, great news this morning. Have you seen the economic news? Unemployment rate is 6.3%, 280,000 jobs. It is morning in America.
Bill, do you know that 800,000 people left the labor force?
800,000. That's another wonderful number you just come up with.
No, it's what are you talking about? This is everywhere. CNBC. It's in the jobs report, the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, Investors Business Daily. Even the Washington Post has confirmed 800,000 people more left the labor force. So you can come up with these phony baloney numbers all you want. I'll tell you right now, if this was Mitt Romney's economy, if this was George Bush's economy, you guys would be savaging him. You guys would be saying, stop cooking the books. There's 23 million Americans unemployed or underemployed, over 93 million out of the labor force. And yet, like the drone that you are, the Obama bot that you are, honestly, you sound like some kind of propaganda minister in the old Soviet Union. The government gives you these bogus statistics, and then you with your... Look, Bill, I keep telling you this. You don't have to praise and glorify them. You don't. No one's taken away your welfare check. Buddy, relax.
Jeff,
Trust me on this.
Jeff.
Really, it's okay.
No,
if there's a Republican in office, no one's going to touch your EBT cards, okay? By the way, how many do you have?
Jeff, we know.
No, Bill, honestly, I'm being serious, really. How many EBT cards do you have? You must have at least two.
The numbers are real, and that You cannot.
They're not real. Look, are there 93 million people out of the labor force? Yes or no?
No.
That's a lie. You're lying.
No.
That's no. You don't want because you're CBO. Look, Bill. The Congressional Budget Office. These are official government numbers. Look it up. Go to CBO.
Real numbers.
93 million are now out of work, out of the labor force. 23 million. This is straight from the Labor Department. 50%. Unemployed or underemployed. Let me ask you one final point. Because, Bill, honestly, you're just a shill. I swear, Bill, God is my witness. Do you know that people don't believe you're real? No, I'm not kidding. People think that we pay you to say what you say. Because you say what even MSNBC doesn't say. Even the administration doesn't say it's morning again in America. Even they don't say that. Let me ask you this, and maybe this will hopefully pierce something in your brain, okay? Pierce this veil of ideology that is polluting and suffocating your brain. Communism, whether it be in Yugoslavia, Romania, the Soviet Union, their official unemployment rate, literally, wasn't 2%, 1%, even 0.5%. It was 0. Did the Soviet Union have a booming economy? Yes or no?
No.
So don't cite to me these bogus statistics. 617-266-6868 is the number. I tried to reach out to them. Maybe it worked. Open lines Friday, 617-266-6868 is the number. More with your calls. Next. Welcome back to the Kuhner Report, 9:55 here on the great WRKO. Don't forget, tomorrow at Mass Firearms School in Holliston, I will be there in person from noon until 2. If you want to meet me, talk to me. Kuhnerman will be there for a full 2 hours starting at noon. Mary, you've been patiently holding. Thank you and welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Mary.
Hi. I listen to your program every morning, and I enjoy it very much. You do a good job, and keep it up.
Oh, thank you very much, Mary.
But I'm also very angry to the fact that they allowed this woman to stay on the job until August. I am a retired state worker. I was a social worker. And anybody that does anything wrong that got fired, they lose automatically their pensions. And the governor has allowed this woman to stay on the job and not lose 1 penny of her pension.
She's keeping her pension. They're going to keep her on for 3 more months at $137,000 a year, Mary.
Yeah. If anybody else, I know quite a few people that have gotten fired from the state, and they lost all their pension.
Mary, you know, if that was me, if I was forced to step down from RKO, do you know what would happen to me, Mary?
You lose your pension.
I'd be out on the street.
Yeah.
Thank you for that call, Mary. Hey, it pays to be a hack of the vol. Nick, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Go.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Real quickly,
sure.
You know, and all this stuff that's with memos that are redacted, et cetera, even going back to Fast and Furious, I'm suspecting that they are not doing this. And what they should be doing is, whenever these memos come up, all these memos are backed up on servers on a daily basis, right? So when they come out with a memo and it says, okay, this was September 12th, well, then what the committee should be doing is requesting the backups of that system on that day. Okay, whose particular, PC system it was, or if it's just on a server, and then look at it and say, wait a minute, this memo that you're talking about ain't even on this backup, so what are you talking about? It wasn't even written, wasn't even modified. What I'm saying is, all they're really doing is sitting on this documentation, redacting it, changing it. There's a way with forensic data, practices to determine what really happened. I wish they would do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Charles Krauthammer. I used to play chess with him. He's a conservative. He writes for the Washington Post. He's nationally syndicated, but he's also one of the most important Washington insiders. Has now come out and said that the Ben Rhodes email is equivalent to the Nixon tapes during Watergate. I'm telling you, this thing is not going to die. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Carol, I've got about a minute. Go.
Yes, I just want to say, as you know, they voted on the budget this week. I'm sure the taxpayers got screwed. So I asked Kuhner Country to call the governor and complain about Olga Roche getting her retirement if they have to raise our taxes.
Thank you so much, Carol. my friends, it's time to clean up this entire criminal gang. 617-266-6868 has been the number. I've got to go. Boston's bulldozer cleaning up the liberal bull. See you all tomorrow. Mass Firearms School in Holliston, noon till 2. And remember, together, we're beating liberals one day at a time.